Hello everyone and welcome to the first edition of Planet F1. I'm your host, Sean McKean, and here's what we have for our first episode. Fastest lap point livened up Australian Grand Prix. For those who are unaware, the fastest lap point is exactly how it sounds. Whoever gets the fastest lap by the end of the race gets an extra point, but you have to be in the top 10 to be eligible. Valtteri Bottas became the first driver to win the point on his way to a dominant victory, despite Toto Wolff telling him not to go for it. After the race, this is what Ross Brawn, director of Formula 1, had to say. In a race in which the podium position seemed set from early on, the fight to claim that one extra point, and the knowledge that it could be vitally important in the closing stages of the championship, certainly livened up the closing stages of the race. That was exactly what we and the FIA had in mind when it came up with the idea. Brawn also added that he was encouraged by the new for 2019 aero regulations that brought better battles and midfield battles than previous races at Albert Park. The initial signs are encouraging, especially as apart from the actual overtakes, we saw some throwing battles. Clearly, those weren't all down to new aerodynamics, as the performance of midfield teams has especially closed up dramatically. However, several drivers said the cars felt more neutral when following another compared to previous years. Bottas has rediscovered junior superstar form. The Finn started off his 2019 campaign in perfect style with a 23-second victory over Lewis Hamilton in the Australian Grand Prix. Having had a winner to reset himself, Bottas just missed out on pole position and charged away from Lewis at the start. For Toto Wolff, who played a part in guiding Bottas' junior career, he was surprised over his stunning performance. I think that maybe his years at Williams and then the shock draft into Mercedes was something he needed to digest. He went off tired at the end of the season and came back to 2008 young man. Obviously, I'm very happy and he deserves it. Wolff also thinks that a good mindset played a role in his performance. Since I started to work with drivers 15 years ago, I tried to comprehend what's going on in their brains, and I don't. How he recovered from being written off as not being up to the job in the second half of last year to one of the most dominant victories that we've seen in recent years just shows us the human potential and how much it is a mind thing. For me, it's also a bit of a fairy tale. Don't let others break you, and believe in yourself. He just showed us the whole weekend. There was not one single session that he was not good enough. Daniel Ricciardo 50-50 on Bathurst 1000 start. Australian F1 driver for Renault, Daniel Ricciardo, had recently sampled Rick Kelly's Nissan Altima supercar during his exhausting promotional schedule ahead of the Australian Grand Prix, cutting a handful of laps at Calder outside of Melbourne. While it was his first drive of a proper race-ready supercar, the Aussie F1 ace equipped himself well in the 600-horsepower touring car, despite admitting that he went into the experience a little nervous of how he would fare. Having passed that first test with flying colors, Ricciardo was now refusing to rule out actually racing a supercar in the future. Here's what he had to say afterwards. I got asked not long ago, after F1 would you want to do some races? Do something else like V8s or NASCAR or Le Mans? When I first got into F1 a few years ago, I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome, I'd love to. But the more years I do this, it kind of wears you out, and I thought, once I'm done, I think I'll be done. I'll never say never, I'd give it a good 50-50 at the moment. Having sat next to Ricciardo for his few laps at Calder, Kelly said he's happy to have the Renault driver as his Bathurst partner, although he joked he'd probably have to relinquish primary driver duties. Is Ricciardo ready for Bathurst? Vote in the poll in the top right corner, and here at Planet F1, we'll see you next time.